Bob has, Van on the cover of TV Guide, the Mark Goodson autographed from the Museum of Broadcasting, 1985, and all of the little stuff, right, Bob? This is like all your stuff from Game Show Network, all your promotional stuff.
Yep.
God, I love it. The pens, was that from the Game Show Network?
Yeah, this is from The Chase, which is a show I produced.
I like The Chase.
For GSN. And you helped us sell The Chase. You did the voiceover for the teaser of The Chase when we did the pilot for Fox, and that's what sold them on it.
Wow, that's great. So
there it is.
There it is. I deserve a pen, but I'm going to leave mine here. No, I'll leave it here. I like to have something here at the house in case they're going to.
Is that a pen in your pocket? Oh, yeah. This is the face-off podium from Family Feud. This goes back to the original. It was refurbished for the Ray Combs version in the 80s, and I had it restored to its original light and sound. So when I press this button,
I love it. I love it. Now they still use that, but it's a more electronic. Does the sound generated on the set or not?
Yes, it's still tied into the piece. They just have a new piece now.
I see.
But it's basically the same sound.
The Feud is a timeless format, isn't it?
The Feud has been on since the mid-'70s, and there's no stopping it. I think it'll be on forever.
It seems like a perfect format.
This is the spelling bee game from The Price is Right.
Spelling bee, okay.
The object is to spell out the word car, or if you were lucky enough, you might get the one piece that actually says car.
Oh, sweet.
Yes.
Sweet. Yeah.
But if you want whammies...
I see whammy in the background there.
There's whammy there, but here's the original whammy over here. This was from the show in the 80s.
Wow.
And the whammy board had slides in it, and the slides, you could see that through the light there.
Yeah.
Those were some of the slides that were in the board.
Sure.
That the players would see. There's a whammy slide.
Wow, that's wild.
So, yeah.
This is the Gene Rayburn microphone you were telling me before?
Yes. So when Match Game came back in '73, Gene Rayburn used this microphone. Now, in the earliest days of the show, it started out unextended, and he held it up. But as time went on, either his arm got tired or he wanted a new signature, he started to extend it a little more and a little more.
It was always that kind of telescope-type microphone?
Pretty much, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Because that you're doing right now, that was associated with him, that thin, long mic.
This was a signature, iconic piece of the show and of his career.
Which leads me to, how did you get it?
Well, let's just say it needed a home, and I provided it.
Do people know by now that, wait a minute, Bob might want this, we should put it...
Well, yes. In fact, I am now co-founder of the National Archives of Game Show History, which is a real museum, not like my museum, which is really just a collection. Mm-hmm. Everything here will eventually be going to the National Archives of Game Show History, which is at the Strong National Museum of Play in Rochester, New York.
Wow, that's very cool.
They are dedicated to opening up as an exhibit in a couple of years, which will feature props and memories and memorabilia, authentic items from the world of game shows.
I think that's just awesome. Plus, there'll be videos there, and frankly, it's the kind of thing that so many people can relate to. It's probably more relatable than most things in most museums.
Yeah. It's game shows have touched everybody's lives, whether you were on a game show or loved watching a game show as a child or as an adult. Or both, in my case. And everybody has been involved in some manner in the orbit of game shows.
Bob, is this one of these things that you pull down like on those shows?
Yes, this is from Joker's Wild.
Right, Joker's Wild.
Okay,
right, yeah.
so Joker's Wild was a show that used a slot machine.
Right.
And the contestants each had this lever next to them, and they would pull it backwards, and it would activate the wheels on the slot machine.
And on the set of Joker's Wild, that really did activate it, or was there somebody in back hitting a button at the same time?
There was somebody in back.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes. But it was timed to the...
Yes, I get it. I get
lever.
it. You still
Yes.
control it. Okay.
Yes.
Gosh, I'm overwhelmed. I really
Here
am.
are some of my favorite sounds,
Okay.
since you're radio.
Yeah, I'm an audio kind of guy.
Okay, so I asked a technician friend of mine to put together a box of my favorite game show sounds. Okay? So cool. And so here's a few. This is the first three are from Family Feud. That's the ring-in sound.
Love
from the
it.
podium.
Love it.
Okay, a right answer gets you, and a wrong answer gets you a strike, which sounds like this.
Oh, that's
A
magnificent.
very iconic sound.
Yeah.
If you're playing the $25,000 pyramid or the $100,000 pyramid and you give an illegal clue, you'll hear this. That's the cuckoo. And if you, let's say you lose on The Price is Right, you'll hear this very iconic sound.
That's the best.
This is a very recognizable sound that's still being used. That's the reveal of the puzzles on Wheel of Fortune. This one,
Daily Double.
Daily Double. This is one that's near and dear to our association. This is from Greed, which is a show we did together in 1999. And when a contestant randomly landed on the Terminator, they heard this.
I love the music cues on that show.
It was a great,
Love them.
great score.
Yeah.
And of course, if you're playing Press Your Luck, you might hear this.
Oh, no.
You
It's a
landed
whammy.
on a whammy.
This is great. Truly great. Love it.
This is a wonderful piece. This is a satin jacket, which was a standard holiday gift for the crew members on different game shows. And as you can see, this one says Dick. This was Dick Clark's jacket
Wow.
from the $25,000 pyramid.
That is very
That
cool.
he actually left for me. He told his family, when I'm not here, I want Bob to have this.
Wow.
So
What a cool brag.
he left that for me.
That's a really cool piece. Isn't that terrific? Well, you know, you work with Dick Clark.
I did. I knew he knew I was a super fan of his. And
Did he
especially-
ever see this room?
Yes. He came over here once, and he was blown away.
Yeah.
In fact, we were doing a wrap party for Greed here, and he came to the front door, and I said hi. He was with his wife, and I said hi, Dick. He says, "Where's the museum? I want to see the museum." And he wanted to go right straight out to this room to see what I had. Lots of tickets of dozens of game shows, past and present.
Wow. Jim Lang dating game. You went to that?
Oh yeah, I was on it.
You were on the dating game?
I was.
And exactly
was.
what were the, how did that work?
It worked out well for the girl and the guy she picked. Not so much for me.
The dating game.
How long, I mean, it's a 22-minute show or whatever. How long, they shot live to tape or whatever?
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we shot a show in a half hour.
Yeah.
This is the pilot of the current version of Jeopardy with Alex Trebek from 1983.
Wow.
And they actually did two pilots. This was the first one that used the same technology, or lack thereof, from the original version that was on in the 60s in New York, which was pull cards. And here's a sample of one of the pull cards that was used on the original Jeopardy.
Sure. The one with Art Fleming?
Art Fleming in the 60s. And The new pilot they did in 1983 had prop people behind the board pulling the cards out.
Sure.
And the station community that the show was pitched to in syndication, they weren't interested in something that low tech, because we were entering the 80s now and technology was starting to boom. And they said, no, we want something more electronic. So they did a second pilot, which looked like this. And this had the electronic board that we still have today,
Wow.
with the neon signs behind it, the neon letters.
Sure.
And that was replaced by the set where I got the J. This is
Now,
my,
we think it's interesting on that, Jim, Alex,
yeah,
and
Ken Jennings parking.
Ken
bag.
Jennings parking back.
He gave that to me. He knew I would appreciate it.
Well, I think it's pretty cool.
This-
These are all the games that he did. Alex did
This
Double
is-
Dare and
Yeah, a little shrine to Alex. Yeah,
Concentration, New High Rollers.
This is a rehearsal for the pilot of Jeopardy, and there I am as a contestant with Alex Trebek.
Ah, that's so great.
That's a
That's a great shot.
casual Alex Trebek.
Yeah.
The core value of many of the legacy game shows is I think the reason why they've lasted so long and will go on forever. In the case of The Price is Right, it's what does something cost, which is something that we all care about. Whether it's a candy bar or a car or a house, you always want to know, first question, what does that cost? That's the basic principle of The Price is Right. If you're thinking about Family Feud, it's about what do other people think? And that's also a very common quality of our society today. Well, here's what I think, but especially in the social media age, you get to find out what everybody thinks instantly. Our first working together, which was Greed.
Yes.
And
Greed.
that, if you recall, that man.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, the host of Greed,
Yes, there he is.
Chuck Woolery.
Yes, that was from the first show, and that was
It was
it
very
was a
simple.
fairy tale. It was a fairy tale for me.
Yeah. To work with Clark, was that what do you mean?
Dick Clark's son Rack called me on the third day of Millionaire, and he said, "Dad thinks this show is going to be a monster hit, and he wants to come up with a show that can compete with it. Can you come up with something?" And I'm like, "Well, yeah, sure. When do you want it?" He said, "In 2 days."
Wow.
So they gave me 2 days to come up with a format. I came in with something that was a team game because I wanted to go away from one player against the house. And they liked what I showed them, but they wanted to make a few changes in it. And we tweaked it. And then it was Dick Clark. When I brought it back in on Monday, when we were trying to brainstorm titles, he said, "I've got the perfect title for it. Let's just call it Greed, because that's what the show's about." And Greed was, previous to that, kind of a dirty word in the game show business. It was like, well, no, we're not about greed. We're about winning. We're about opportunity. We're about dream fulfillment, wish fulfillment. But many people did believe that the core of some game shows was greed. And because it was for Fox, which was bold and out there, we thought they might buy a show called Greed. And sure enough, they did.
It was just the music cues, the lighting, the intensity. It was all really great. Yeah, really perfect.
It was a wonderful 10 weeks from the day that we pitched it, it was on the air.
Yeah.
It was a quick turnaround. Yeah, this is when Greed was being programmed. When the first episode of Greed was being set up to air, I went to the edit bay just to look at the first cut, and they put the credits up, and it said, "Here, executive producers Dick Clark and Bob Boden." And I asked the AD, I said, "Isn't that a mistake? Because Dick never shares his card with anybody." And they said it's the first time that they can recall that he ever allowed someone else to have their name on the same card with him.
That's such a great
Yes.
thing.
That was
Wow.
that was more special than anything I could hope for.
I can bet.
Yeah. Yeah.
So now, what are these notes?
These are some of the letters that I got from game show icons.
Chuck Barris.
Chuck Barris.
The
There's
Gong
one.
Show.
Yep. Chuck
What else?
Barris,
He did a
dating
bunch of...
game, newlywed game.
Chuck Barris created the Newlywed Game?
Oh yeah.
Oh, wow.
Chuck Barris really redefined game shows in the 60s, and he brought them into the modern era of more frank, honest discussion of relationships and sex and innuendo.
Mm-hmm.
This is a note from Don Pardo that I got. There was a segment that the Real People show did about me, and he watched it and sent me a note afterwards.
I did. Yes, I did catch your bit on Real People. Good, Bob. Thanks for briefing me about it.
That's it. These are notes that I got from Mark Goodson, the top game show producer, unquestionably, of all time.
Guinness Book of World Records. Did he do a Guinness Book of World Records?
I believe there was a segment on The Price is Right on Guinness Book of World Records show, and I sent him a note about it. I sent him a tape of Twin Peaks that he was curious
about. I love this. You've got a chance to work and interact with some of your idols. That's what this is, man. It's great.
I have a few notes here from Dan Enright, who I work for. There's a flag from Double Dare that Mark Summers signed.
Mm-hmm.
Dan Enright, I worked for Dan, and he sent me some beautiful, beautiful notes over time. Here's a letter I got from another one from Chuck Barris, who thanked me for something I had sent him. Here's one from Ralph Edwards, who was one of the pioneers of television, who was known for This Is Your Life.
Sure.
Where he would surprise people with their life story.
Did he do other stuff? Ralph Edwards Productions did other stuff besides.
Yeah, he did a bunch of game shows, and he also did People's Court, which just went off after 22 years. Here's a handwritten note from Art Fleming that he had sent to me.
Look at you. I can't tell you how thrilled, underlined, I am for you in your new promotion.
Yeah.
Well, which one was that?
I got a promotion, I think, at CBS when I was working there into daytime programming.
Got a reference to KMOX.
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah. Isn't that cool? Art Fleming.
Art Fleming. This is from Fred Silverman, who was a pioneer of television, who was head of daytime for NBC, and he had me come and lecture at his class and sent me this beautiful note.
He was right about the first line, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Before game shows will take over television, and you're the man who's responsible. I mean, it really is true, Bob. They've never been hotter.
Yeah.
With the changing landscape, that really is a genre that's hot. I just love that your heart.
This one lights up.
It's just.
There you go.
It's gotta
have the full effect.
It's some of the lower tech stuff is the most fun, right? Because you've seen, on television it looks so bitchin', and then in reality, of course, it's just it's painted cardboard
and glue and tape
and concept. You know what I mean? This is great.
I have to plug the show I'm doing now,
please,
because I want to keep doing it. Funny you should ask. Syndicated all around the country. Check your local listings for time and channel in your area.
Now, that's, is it, who hosts that again?
John Kelly hosts it. And we have 6 celebrities. Really.
They're comedians and.
High level talent. Really great names. We have John Lovitz. We have Howie Mandel. We have Tiffany Haddish. We have a lot of, top name people who are on the show every week, and they tell jokes, and the contestants have a great time. And
no, it really is entertaining. When it comes to getting those kinds of people, this is because of relationships, right? Your relationships, the relationships of other people who work in your world.
It's mostly Byron Allen.
Yeah, Byron Allen.
My boss. I met Byron 45 years ago when I was a cue card guy on Real People, and he was one of the hosts of Real People, and so I got to know him back then. And throughout the years, we stayed, in touch. We weren't best buddies, but he knew where I was, I knew where he was. And one day he decided he wanted to be a game show mogul, in addition to all the other mogul titles that he has. And he reached out to me and asked me to come on his team. And so I've been there for 7 years now.
Did you create Funny You Should Ask?
No, he did. He
Okay.
did with Scott Satin.
Okay. It's really fun, and you do a great job with it. I love that you've let me dance through, your memories and your memorabilia. It's so cool, Bob. This is
I'm
really
happy that you got a chance to come here.
really enjoy it. Thanks, man.